Good morning, Suzanne. So, Suzanne, find your picture and draw two animals that you think would be the best marriage together. Hippopotamus with a pink flamenco or whatever you think, and why, please. Oh, I got it.
It might be under, oh, there you go.
So remember, this is when I said this is the time we stop bitching about Suzanne. This is for you.
And
This is for you, Suzanne. We were not bitching. Okay, focus.
that's hysterical. I love it. So thank you for trusting me with this. I appreciate it. And I appreciate you. All right. I'm going to ask the questions and you're going to make up the answers, right?
Mhm.
What is the significant event that transformed you the most?
I'm trying to clear stuff. The one I'm going to talk about, it's probably when I left my family when I was 17. It's not one, it's how I left with no fear of anything. It's I didn't want to live with them. I think I loved them, but I didn't want the kind of life they were having. So I left. I went to Brittany. I was teaching sailing, living in a place with friends. The sailing school director was leaving, not going back to Paris, gave me the key of his apartment. So at 17, not even the majority in France, which is 18, I was living alone and I was trying to study and practicing Aikido. And I had a girlfriend in Italy. And it's amazing how I was free. I was not asking any money to my parents. I was dealing with myself, working in the market, and with all the grocery store, the fresh stuff like orange and stuff and stuff. And I was very early. It's amazing that what reminds me is how I was free. Nobody could stop me. They could try. My parents could have tried to reason me like you should do study and stuff and stuff. So I was just free. And my parents were normal people. I didn't want to escape. It's just I wanted to live my life on my term. So it taught me, and I guess sometimes in my life later, I might have forgotten it, that I was basically free to do whatever I wanted in my life. That's the event I remember now. It's not one event, is when I left and I decided not to just be at home and be a good boy studying. And also, I think at the same time, I decided responsibilities. Like I decided that I could become a holiday camp not director at the time, but monitor. We say monitor in France. I don't know if we say this, holiday camp. Uh, then I went when I was 21 to be a holiday camp director, probably one of the youngest in France, like because you can only be a director when you're 21, and I was director at 21. Uh, and I took and I was at school before to leave school. Who puts this guy to raise his hand and decide to go to be student president, which was like few thousand people, kids, there. And we did so many parties and events and good stuff. And I was only aware of this f like few weeks ago or a few months ago, realizing, oh gosh, I was not too bad at the time. I was going for it. When did all the doubts came to me and the lack of self-trust and lack of like stuff of I'm not enough came in between, since I was so okay with myself and just going, and I'm sure I was helping people at the same time. So I was doing good stuff. It was not only for me or my ego, I was helping other people. So that's the part of, yeah, significant event is when I broke free. Oi, how come I don't hear you? I heard you changed microphone?
I'm changing. Did that work?
Yeah, better. Thank you.
It keeps dropping. I got to do something.
Okay.
Might be the construction. So how did that change you? That's not the next question.
It's in
It's
between.
the one in between. It's the Suzanne question. So how did that change?
And well, I trusted myself so much. changed me that I didn't have. It was still there was some fear. Like I think I said to Bill when we talked, like I had no idea what I would do in my life when I was 17. Everybody had something like, oh, I'm going to be a nurse, I'm going to be a doctor, I'm going to be a lawyer, I'm going to be stuff. And I was in technical study studying electronics and electricity, got baccalaureate, the French one, which is only secondary school here in Americas. And I had no openings. I went to the teaching school, which nobody succeed to get the exam, the entry exam. When I went there, I was even the third one for the whole department, uh, the whole state, I mean, around Paris. And so I was invited with lots of very important people. But the thing is, after a year, I quit. And because the institution part, I love teaching, but changing stuff in the institution every 20 years, when you're 20 is very scary. So I guess when I started to break free, do whatever I wanted, decide to do this study, to go to study something totally unusual because forbidden, like chiropractic, I felt I was living. I felt I had a purpose. I felt I was doing something first that I loved. So life actually before had no sexiness. And now with this life had a reason, I had a reason to live. Because before I was really wondering, am I gonna end up like all these guys buying my house, putting fences, growing my garden, putting an alarm, being 40, and then retiring and dying from cancer? Is this my life? This is very sad. So I always wanted excitement, do something different. No, so this freedom gave me a reason that okay, there's more. There's more than just watching TV in the evening. The microphone is gone, so sorry. I don't know. Why is it switching? Maybe it's something I don't have to hear. I don't know. Shouldn't hear.
Is that working? Okay.
Yeah, it's working now. I'm sorry, I don't
All
read.
all the videos of me and my microphone have my face going.
So Susan,
Um,
Susan
so
is.
what soul quality did you learn about or experience through that event?
Yeah, I don't know if it is. I'm gonna drop words just because I'm thinking about freedom, but freedom is so general. And I went very literate with freedom. Like to me, freedom is freedom about money, people, and time. Like the three level of freedom. If you can, if you're freedom about deciding to earn money more or less, not only always more, but it's good. Freedom to decide who you're gonna work with, collaborate, and freedom about your time. Well, this is really freedom. But what I learned over there is it's maybe I don't know, maybe it's courage, which I never thought about before. Like I've absolutely I started a company on my own 100% in New Zealand, opposite of France, alone, with my own money, importing three licenses from Europe and exporting stuff from New Zealand. And okay, I got lots of help, but I did it on my own. I designed the stores, I found the location, I negotiate with the real estate, I negotiate with the landlord, define the range and everything to start a company, opening stores and retail and wholesale. So I think maybe I'm more courageous than I think I am. But it didn't feel like courage. Like there was no painful part with it. It was just go for it. Even it's stupid or you could end up losing money, just do it. And I never realized actually this before, that it was the same stuff. So my joke would be maybe I'm still a teenager. I'm not really thinking. I'm just going for it. And somewhere my project in few years' time to buy a boat and go sailing, a catamaran, whatever, 40, 45 feet, uh, is also the same stuff. Maybe a third time. Go for it. Cross the ocean. Go to Greece. Go to Crete. Go to whatever. And because this is being me. This is me being free.
Yeah. What's the I'm going to go with her next question and then I have another one after that. But what's the progression throughout your life of that soul quality mastery journey. You sort of touched on it. You actually just started to touch on
What's progression? Yeah. I love when I feel I don't think too much.
it.
I love when I feel this is what, because honestly, it was easy. Many, so many people told me, oh, this is crazy what you've done. But to me, it was easy. Recruiting members is a pain. It's not easy at all. So maybe I should stop. But, but it felt really easy. I mean, yeah, when I think about this, there was a lot of ingredients about, defining the range, convincing the CEOs of this major French brand, lingerie and stuff to export, to go trust this guy, even though they had nothing to lose because it was my money anyway. And worked with me to open stores and corner stores, New Zealand, Australia. And even though the landlords and everybody in the bank being convinced that this was the right thing to do, so there's a flow. It was an effortless movement, actually. It was effortless courage. Maybe this is my soul code, effortless courage. Like it didn't feel I had to work for it. It's something that, when you just think you want to do it, you don't even think it's difficult. You just go. You buy this car, you buy this boat, and you learn sailing, and you find the best school, and that's it.
So what's the spectrum?
I don't know, but I'd like to say I miss this. I miss this feeling. I want stuff to be easy for me. I don't have this anymore. You just once thought that Mark Taylor saying before doing the training that we are doing now, he felt like a door-to-door salesman. This is how I feel now. I don't like it.
Mm,
So, spectrum about
so
freedom. Well,
yeah, what's the opposite of freedom?
prisoner of my life. Small cube. No windows. Like nothing outside. It's just prisoner, not living, choking, even though worrying, fear would be on the one side of the spectrum, and the other part is just living.
Like your 17-year-old.
Yeah, yeah. 17, and I did it again when I was around 37, and I should have done it at 57, but I passed this already. So maybe I did. Actually, I came to this stage and take at 57. Why don't I feel free? It was due for to me.
Was there anything before 17?
I was very judgmental, I think. I was the only child. And I think I thought that the life of my parents were not the life I wanted to live before, all the things we do later. We forgive them, we understand them, we apologize for judging them and stuff. Because they were modeled to me. I just discovered this when I was 50 only, actually. Like my dad he started connecting cables at the TV and he became movie director. So all the stage about being cameraman, the director of photography, and then the movie director, he did because it was his passion. And I guess it was difficult. He was born in 18,
Mm,
end of World War One. The guy was born when he was a teenager, Second World War, World War Two. How great! How could I complain about my life? He went through two wars. He was from Israel, Romania, and stuff. So they moved from Romania to France. And but yet, what I was seeing at this time was my mom, northern part of France, Picardy. All my cousins were hunters, fishermen, heavy drinkers. Not we were kids, but it became after. Like they were.
mm,
This was not really the life I wanted, and I was
mhm,
very alone. I was not belonging, which is number one
mm.
of this. I was not belonging to this, and how can I belong to people being drunk on every Saturday at 10 a.m. and insulting their wife by noon and the kids, and it's supposedly funny. and let's do this next weekend because the wife's not gone. She's still staying,
Mhm.
whatever. So I didn't want to do this. It was not me. Uh, and yet, individually, they are wonderful people, and I think everyone is wonderful. I just don't know why they behave like this, and I don't feel comfortable with this. And my dad, the rest of the family was highly intellectual. Like on the side of my dad, it was totally the opposite. My uncle was a ministry director, the top position in the ministry, but the guy that stays, government go, but the guy stays to manage the ministry, health ministry director, super rich. Another one was he had few theater. So, intellectually and even connecting, we could really talk about stuff different than with the hunter fishers there. No,
Mhm.
yes, I'm judging to be honest. I'm
It's
also,
okay.
okay, yeah, there's a little bit judgment with hunter fishers. So before, to answer the question before, I was not feeling, it's also adding to my freedom when I was 17. Like basically I was escaping because I had no idea what kind of life I could live.
Mhm.
I had not many role models. I mean, everyone being free and successful and happy was could have been a role model to me because I couldn't see this. My parents were really nice. It's just they met very late and they were not really sportive and they were doing the best to educate me and loving me their way. And they were watching TV every evening and I couldn't think, well, this is life. Oh shit, not exciting.
Mhm. I feel that. I feel that. So, next question. What ripple effect relates the most to the soul quality, to freedom?
Well, you can give so much when you feel free. You can really, I always thought that when you're good about yourself and you're not looking or your ego doesn't control you, you can really focus on someone else. But it's more adjusted. It's more honest than looking for to get something or looking for after someone to with expectations. Like this, it's sort of the thing we say about marriage. Like people get married. Most of the time, it's not about I love you, it's about love me. And there's lots of love and even physical love at the beginning, then sometimes it goes away. And then realize, oh shit, it was just filling my hole. I had a hole in my sensitivity, in my self-image, or whatever this person was really feeling. It was a lot. And now, oh shit, it's empty again, 20 years later or 10 years later. So I don't know why I went there. Remind me the question so I can focus, please.
It was what
Ripple
ripple effect
effect.
relates the most to that soul quality. And the question after that is what world level ripple effect would be most meaningful for you to have a small part in? I think you were starting to head into the next question almost.
So maybe there's a word that is I didn't find yet because freedom, it's what freedom brings that I care for, and I don't have the word yet.
Mhm.
It's just like when you're free, you leave. If you're not free, you don't live. That's how I say
Mhm.
this. And it's not free about accumulation. Oh yeah, accumulation is pleasure, it's the sugar. Yeah, you're great, you can accumulate, but I've known for years that it's like the sugar, it's 4 minutes in the blood, and you got it, and it's gone, and then you feel, oh, I'm depleted. I don't have this, and I wait the next thing. So I'm aware about the material stuff, but freedom, live your life, have a purpose. This, what I was trying to describe, like not even thinking of it, just doing it. You feel empowered. You feel like you're a magician. You feel there cannot be anything stopping me. You just do, and magically it happens.
Mhm.
That's I did this company. I decided to move to New Caledonia as well, so close to Tahiti. I don't know if you know, like as a sailor. When you're born in Paris and you love sailing, you really think you're going to retire there. Oh, and then after you think, oh, I'm 36, maybe I still have to do something else. And but this freedom of really living and not feeling any obligation. You still do something, you work, you do stuff, you advance, but it's absolutely not, it's flawless.
Mm.
There's no obligation.
What would be possible, borrowing Suzanne's question, what would be possible if that
For who?
was the world?
From me to others, for others, there's so much. I mean, to me, if everybody was free, and I know free could bring misalignment or bad behavior or whatever, but I'm not thinking about this. But if everybody was living, I even believe that if everybody was living free, there would be no hurt. They would not need because there would be no confrontation because everybody will be living their happy life.
So what would be possible?
A lot more of everything. More peace, more happiness, more fun, more safety, more because I really believe the magic would be that people that would be gardeners, whatever the result would be. So we would have more food, more protection, less consumption. So probably less consumption, less problem for the planet as well. It would be, but maybe I'm too naive, but it would be a super balancing of anything that goes wrong because the ego is part of it and we are not actually free. Because honestly, when you are super happy, it's like you don't need much. You just need less. You need more when you're unhappy and you need to compensate.
There's another soul code in here, I think. There's just an observation, and then I want to get through the next two questions because I think you're aiming there. Freedom, what I'm hearing is authenticity a little bit in there, like authenticity, freedom, living your best life.
Yeah, it's all
It,
connected.
there's something in there going in search of, I think there's another soul quality in
Yeah.
there. So
That's good. So, Suzanne, if you hear us, say the word.
we're saving the world. The last two questions are, and I think you're sort of crossing into them anyway, is how do your significant events, soul qualities, and world ripple effect all connect with each other? And then why is this all deeply meaningful for you? How is it personal?
Well, I think that just came was, and again, this word purpose has been used so many times. It's like mission, vision, value. Nobody understands it. So I'm afraid purpose maybe is not the right word, but basically it would be when I do this, I feel I have a purpose to live. If I'm not like this, or if I don't do this, or there's no purpose to live. And it brings me back to what am I going to do when I grow up?
Mm.
When I was younger. And I've done, or maybe it's selfish because I've done only what I wanted to do. I lived for happiness, not especially accumulation, but happiness. And I was lucky because when I was experiencing what I was doing, I was happy. At the moment, I told you when I left home doing stuff and totally free, I was happy. When I moved to Asia, I was happy to be partially free, but not belonging to the Decathlon was a pain. Then I quit. I quit an expat job, well paid. You know, when you're expat, the only thing you have to do is to find who you're going to play tennis with on Saturday, which is not a burden of this. And
Mm.
and I was jobless at 36. And this is when my future wife decided to quit 3 jobs in Taiwan when she was paid more than me. And so we were both jobless, you know. like international homeless. We talk about this, but we still did it. You know, they still did it, and then we moved. So it's all about this freedom, about following the flow, and what has to happen is actually happening without us noticing. But we are so maybe that's something also about being in a project. Like when you're in a project, like I'm going to go to this school, I will accumulate this money to pay for my school in Switzerland, or I will succeed to be a teacher, or I will start my own company, or I will move to Canada. This is the moment where I feel the most excited. Some people could be nervous. I feel the more me. And I think my wife, we share this together. We don't agree on everything, of course, like, but we share this trait of character. So I don't know if I'm answering the question, which I already forgot, by the way, but this is a connection I can see.
It's so I put two questions together. It was how do these connect with your world ripple effect, and why is it all deeply meaningful and personal to you? I think we're getting closer to what it is.
I'd love to. I still don't have the word. It's not there. There's authenticity, yeah, true. There's alignment. There's flawless. I don't know if we say flawless, like when it's fluid, you don't even
Yeah.
think you're doing.
Well, I
Like,
don't I don't necessarily think we need to change your word. Your word was freedom. That came from you,
yeah,
right?
it's I'm
I
still
don't
not
know that we need to change it.
okay. It's
I
still not
I,
so.
I just yeah.
Maybe I'm looking too much for a haha. I don't know. But like you're doing what you're doing with the armchair almost falling on your face behind you.
Oh, it's not. It's totally
I
it's
know.
totally
I know. I'm kidding. It's just like some other people could say, "Wow, this is crazy what you went through and stuff. This is so courageous." And maybe to you, it's not because this is just what you think is good to do. And you're following the flow, and it's amazing. And you even are able to be so present that you can realize that this is becoming a home. Wow, I love my bedroom now. Before I was just a bed and four walls or whatever. Now I love. This is a place. So it's the thing that I'm kind of trying to identify that I had this few times in my life. I'm already fortunate. I hope people have this because the opposite, which would be really, I need to find a word in English, subir. Like you're not in charge. Da, da, da.
yeah. I get it.
You
You're
get,
you're kind of tolerating what is because you don't know that you can change it.
yeah, it's not a,
Subservient.
oh,
You're
I say
yeah.
suffer, sustain, uh, which is basically you're limiting yourself. You're limiting your scope of everything you could give, leave, receive. I know maybe I'm asking too much. If we are trying to identify what moves me, is this. And I'd love this to be the situation for everybody.
Yeah.
Not that they
Why?
want, not that they want, I think you should be a coach. I think it's not with a level that they should need more, they should want more. No, no, no. Just looking for and the happiness reminds me The Alchemist. I don't know if you read the book from Paulo
hmm
Coelho. The guy that got
I just moved the whole series of books to the new bookshelf from
yeah.
this thing to that thing.
So
You
it's
can't see them because the couch is in the way.
yeah. And so this idea that you go everywhere, and also the another theory. Oh, I forgot the name. Anyway, okay, goes to Shambhala, and I think we go everywhere, and when it's based
Dan Miller.
inside us. Yeah,
Dan Miller was the author, I think.
I thought it was James Redfield.
That might be
Redfield.
another one.
Yeah,
Okay.
the Celestine prophecy.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay. I read that one. I was thinking of Dan Miller, who's something else.
yeah.
Yep.
So, this really impacting me. This is touching me. Like when you are so attuned with this, and the last book, Shambhala, maybe there was another one that you're so kind of pure that the Chinese army going to come, but it's going to be this way, and you have to make a decision at the fork of the road, and you didn't even think of this. You're just there, and all the rest. should be a mess up if you take
Mhm.
this road. You could go to the Chinese army, your life just going to change and that's it. So I don't know what could be the word. At the same time, when Suzanne told me about belonging, I thought it was something interesting. My ego or my brain still loved the word I had found before, and then it grew in me.
Mhm.
So probably if you were or if anyone was saying the word, it would take a little time, a little while to grow in me, but I believe the system and I believe the process that it will come. It will come in the next few days, like, oh yeah, 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 yeah. Because with our world that we are starting to define, I believe if people are like experiencing the same thing as I did, we find connection about, oh, oh yes. Oh yes, when I was 4 years old. Oh yes, when I was three and thing. But I don't know the word. And freedom seems too intellectual to me.
You're like right there. I can understand why belonging fits because you knew, and this is just me, so this is not the gospel according to Cheryl, right? You knew what wasn't all there was, and you didn't feel like that was the place for you. You didn't belong. So you went in search of where you belong and you found it. It feels like freedom because you're doing what's authentic to you. And that's where the flow comes.
Hmm?
So there may be the reason why freedom feels intellectual and yet you don't have the next word for it. Maybe because it's freedom is what happens or what you use to get to. So it may be something, and it's like right there. You're literally, I can feel it. You're right there. That's why I was like, I hear authenticity, but I don't want to put the words in the boxes for you because it has to come from inside.
Yeah,
But you definitely have an authentic existence and your journey, even how you found the instructor by kind of just trusting the universe. And you went and you walked and you looked at the right moment and he looked up and beckoned you in. That's a, there's a
exactly.
really powerful existence there, allowing, letting, being authentic. And my words, the universe delivers.
Exactly.
There's something really powerful for you right there. And it sounds like it's happened your entire life.
Yeah, I was very, very lucky. I'm very grateful, even though I can find stuff that I didn't like I told you in Decathlon, the stuff that
Yeah.
I was not strong enough to, and even, it's so about, yeah, this must be a fuel to me or engine to me because I left Decathlon and I could have stayed. And honestly, I'd be millionaire now. Like if all my friends, they absolutely have no worries for their retirement. They can buy a size of boat triple that's the one I'm targeting because they stayed. But if I had to stay, I would have to put so much at the bottom of my pocket that it would not be me.
Mm.
So I'm teasing myself, telling me it's immature, but it's a thing that, yeah, I followed my path. And yes, do I regret the money? Yeah, a little bit. But could have I stayed? Probably not.
So that's freedom. Freedom to be who you are.
Yeah.
And that word is fine. Freedom to be who you are. And then if you were to teach that to the world, what would be possible? If other people could be free to be who they are, what would happen in the world?
Oh, that's what I said before. There would be so much less sadness, less doubt, more happiness, less suffering. Again, there's always behind freedom, like, the freedom of one starts when the other ones starts or finish. But it's the thing that freedom doesn't mean messing up. But actually, I believe when you are totally free, you don't hurt anyone. You're not really free when you feel the needs of, you know, accumulating, hurting, possessing, whatever, or hurting anyone. But I
That's
think,
an interesting angle.
yeah,
There's no more hurt, and people are not hurting each other.
yeah, because they would be just satisfied and they would be, yeah, complete. I don't know, if complete the sense that are we ever, but they would feel. This is, I know there's something behind this flow where you don't have to think because you are really doing it. So it's like you don't even have time to think, you are in the flow, you're on the tube, you're doing your stuff.
You're right there.
Yeah.
It
So
is freedom.
you know what? I think
I
I will,
think,
unless you have something to say to me on this, I will just use the last advice from Suzanne, like I would just wait for this to appear.
yeah, keep going on it. Keep
Bring it
going on it.
on.
Because you're right, like I can feel it. You're right there.
Yeah.
It really is freedom. So what is that effect on the world that's next?
Yeah.
You know what I did with Bernie, and then I have to go, and I'm sorry, but we
I
should set
know
up more
this is
time
why,
to
yeah.
do this again.
So I'm gonna stop the
Uh,
recording.
yeah.